Alright, what's up guys? Next video, the cam install. I'm a little dressed up here. I was just working and going home, and a buddy of mine, Charlie, is coming over. And Charlie has a lot of experience with LS engines. Sorry, it's a little dark, the sun's going down. Charlie has a lot of experience with LS engines. He works for PSR Performance in Pottstown, PA. And he is going to come over and give me a hand, because I figured the headwork, the springs, retainers, all that stuff, I have no idea what I'm doing to an extent other than watching videos on YouTube. And he has all the proper tools to hold the valves and things like that, and the spring tool, and he's doing these on the reg. So I'd rather just have someone come over that is a professional and can crank it out. So he's going to do the head work for me, and he's also just going to kind of like oversee me doing the actual cam swap itself, just so that like I make sure the timing is lined up and the engine's at top dead center on a compression stroke and different things like that you know, need to be perfect in order for this install to go perfectly. So I'm going to get home, get changed, and get out into the driveway. It's going to be dark tonight, so I'm going to try and get as much lighting as I can for you guys. But yeah, let's get after it. Hype.
How do you get that out?
Like
needle nose?
That's what I was worried about, you know, how short it was. But yeah, I'm gonna have to use needle nose. Normally, I have longer ones at work.
Yeah.
I mean,
thought this is the only one I had, so.
I had a puller tip stuck in my crank, so what's worse?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't think a dowel rod is worse than that.
Yeah, so the shoulder on the crank bolt, I ground the shoulder off, and then it fits right through the pulley.
Got an idea.
So I put it in, and I used that to push the puller on.
Now, get your cam ready.
Oh, it's green. Nice.
Apparently didn't watch that part of the video.
Am I doing this right, Charlie?
Yeah.
Sure.
Get it all down, and then take your hands and rub the shaft. Vigorously. Like, lube it all up.
All right.
So break it up.
Now what are we doing?
Water pump bolts in the cam. I was gonna buy new water pump bolts, but the ARP water pump bolts are like weirdly expensive.
Yeah, and for what?
Who the hell buys LS water pump bolts?
I don't know. I don't know why they were so
Nobody
expensive.
does. They're stock.
Why? Because that company that doesn't sponsor us makes you pay too much for them?
Even my cost. Like, yeah, exactly. Even my cost. It was just like, why would I do this?
All right. Hold the shaft. I'm going to pull the shaft. You're going to hand the yellow shaft. Put the shaft in.
Any day now, man.
I'm trying.
You've done this before,
Slowly but gently.
First time for everything.
So you got to be careful. You got to line up the loops, because sometimes even though the lifters are being held up, they're in the way of certain loops. So you got to spin it until you get it back onto the journal like that. You got to keep going so you don't screw the.
On bills, I just.
Well, it's a truck motor, probably.
Yeah, that's. If anything, I smoothed out the scratches on the bearings.
All right.
Remember that quick part he was talking about?
Here's my fresher. I got to extra lube the shaft.
Oh yeah.
Those cam bearings look great.
Are you being serious?
No.
His face didn't.
If this was the pediment, sure.
Hey, don't say that.
I'm just saying.
Well, how many miles this thing got on it?
128.
Not too bad.
Yeah. So Charlie put the Texas-V cam in, new cam retainer plates on, retainer plate is on, and the ARP cam retainer plate bolts are on. And then I believe the next step is to take the water pump bolts out of the new cam and put the timing chain back on with the new cam bolts. And then after that, its timing cover goes back on, and then the head stuff, which I pulled all the plugs out, and then Charlie pulled the rocker arms out and all the push rods to basically get it ready to do the springs. All right, so Charlie had me get these NGK are copper plugs. They're just the V-Power plugs, but these are TR6s, so they're 4177s. They're a step colder than the TR55s that were in the car, and we got them to 30. Alright, so Charlie's working on doing the dual valve springs. We got the back 2 cylinders there done. He's working on these. He's using a little tool he has to keep the valves up with air in the cylinders. And then he's putting in the new seals and the titanium. The titanium retainers. You ever drop a keeper?
Yes.
Or, yeah, a keeper.
Not in. I've got them out when they go in.
Why you gotta say something, bro?
Yeah.
All right, so Charlie's almost done the springs.
One more.
Set. I got the ignition stuff back on this side. So that's all hooked up. And then the timing cover's on. Got to put the balancer on, then tighten all the bolts. And then that seems like a really solid stopping point. All right, so I know we kind of been jumping around all over the place. Charlie knocked it out of the park by doing the springs and the retainers. And honestly, I'm really thankful that he helped me with that, because after seeing him do it and just the tips and tricks and like things like that he knows when it comes to doing a Cam and an LS, even down to how to get the timing cover bolts to line up properly with the crank pulley and all that, I'm super appreciative. It would have taken way longer and probably would have been much more of a struggle on this thing without him. So it's all back together. The engine, get some light going here. So the engine's all back together, crank pulley's tight, timing covers on. The ignition stuff, like I mentioned on the passenger side, is all in. And before I go to bed, I'm kind of crazy. I'm gonna get this valve cover tightened down, get all the coil packs back on, and plug in the plug wires. So tomorrow, all I have to do is put the water pump back on, the rad and the intake, and then like the belts and stuff. Now, I told Paulie and Charlie that I wouldn't start it, but I also told them that if I did start it, I wasn't going to tell them. So I think I might jump ahead and start it, because I don't know if I can wait till later when they both come back over. But I know I won't post it anywhere, so that I'll be the only one that sees it and hears it before they get a chance to. And I'd like to see the reaction to it. Charlie, this is like nothing new. Paulie's heard plenty of Cam stuff too, but I just want to get the reaction to it. Not really. All right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, we got to finish
doing that thing.
We got to wrap it up,
Thanks,
dog.
man.
Yeah, not a problem,
Thanks,
man.
You're welcome for putting those 8 push rods in.
Hey, you know.
I held the condenser too.
Yeah, you did.
Don't forget that, you too.
Before the bungee cord.
Yeah, well, you want to have a bungee cord. So,
all right.
do the rest of your video, and see you soon.
I'll see you guys.
Later, man.